Wake up, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like the world we're living in doesn't feel like an apocalyptic movie film. Yeah, where there's zombies and heroes, people being political, emperor with no clothes, Hunger Games prequel. I just wanna live my life, but we can't even go outside. Beach closed, mall closed, but everybody knows that they're telling us we're safer at home. Safer at home. Yeah, yeah. Club closed, church, but everybody knows safer at home. Safer at home. Yeah, yeah.
Haven't you heard? A queen is on the rise. Wear a mini hat so she can open up your eyes. Join the convo, the podcast is lit. Cop a pen or two to spice up your fit, yeah. She's a producer, you can vibe to her beats. She do the most, but she ain't come to do the least. Whether it's the combo or the music you want, you find it all here at TiTiTalks.com. Come and stimulate your mind with TiTi Talks. Promise you'll never fall behind with TiTi Talks. The knowledge you're seeking you can find with TiTiTalks.com. So come on and get with TiTi Talks, yeah.
Peace, family. It's your girl TiTi from TiTi Talks. I'm so glad to be back behind the mic again to bring you some more bomb content. Now, before I fully jump into my show, I just want to shout out my brother Trumaine Lamar for his song that you just heard on the intro, Safer at Home, off the new EP he just dropped called Songs from Earth. It's such a dope conceptual project for this time, man. I really love it. It's so beautiful. So make sure you check it out on all streaming platforms. I've been a bit on a hiatus between these seasons. COVID-19 has been an interesting time, to say the least, and I'm a healthcare worker, so I'm deemed essential, and there's just so much that comes along with that. And then in the midst of all of this, I've lost 2 grandparents, and just everything that's been going on politically, socially, it has really just been a challenge. But, I've been making sure to take time to navigate all of this in a healthy way, and, I'm excited to share what that looks like as this season goes along. So make sure y'all stay on for the ride, all right? Now, before the shit hit the fan, I traveled to Charleston, South Carolina to visit with my family from the Geechee Experience. Sister Akua Page and brother Chris Cato, they were on my last episode 30. Make sure you are subscribed to the TiTi Talks YouTube channel because I will be dropping the video to my Geechee Experience real soon. But here's what my family had to say about their experience on TiTi Talks. So y'all talk about y'all experience on TiTi Talks.
Listen, TiTi Talks, that's the podcast to tune into. It was a great experience. We just been flowing, for like family.
Yeah, and listen, she got the setup now.
Listen, setup.
She come here doing the most, because ain't coming to do the least.
Okay.
I just want to say thank you all so much for your engagement with TiTi Talks online, as well as in the TiTi Talks Facebook group. Thank you to all my patrons on Patreon. In this hiatus, I've been able to use those funds to hire folks for projects, as well as donate to community organizations. So thank you. It does not go unnoticed. Make sure you follow your girl on IG at TiTi Talks. Join my Facebook group, TiTi Talks. On Twitter, I'm at Miss, that's MS TiTi Talks, and subscribe to that YouTube channel, all right? Episode 31 is so long overdue. One of my sisters, Funlayo Wood Menzies, is in the house, virtually via Zoom. She's an amazing woman, scholar, priestess, and has so many gifts to share with the world. And she and I recently collaborated on a guided meditation project, and we are going to talk about that for sure. The completion of this project came right at a time where we all need to quiet our minds and get clear about what our next moves are, all right? Funlayo reached out to me about producing a guided meditation project she was creating, and she wanted to bring it to life. I was so excited to work on it, yo. Not long after that, we recorded the vocal portion. Over the course of well over a year, I crafted the sound of the project around the vocals. It's been a long time coming, but it's here, and y'all are gonna love it. I'm so excited.
Yes, so. And Minawa.
Peace, fam. It's your girl TiTi from TiTi Talks. I'm so happy to be in this space with my sister. We are so long overdue for this.
So long
overdue for this.
Yes.
But we are here.
I said, we are here. We give thanks.
Listen, y'all. I'm so excited. This is one of my good friends. We met in such a lovely serendipitous fashion several years ago now. And we've been rocking ever since. I met her and literally a few weeks later, we linked up again in Nigeria. And we shared a little whiskey and been buds ever since. So I'm so excited. And she has so many beautiful things that she has going on right now that we're going to go into, we're going to talk about. And she and I just wrapped up on collaboration on a project, and we're going to talk a little bit about that at the end. And at the end of the show, y'all are going to get a lovely sample example of it. You're really going to enjoy it, so make sure y'all check it out. We'll give you all the info as we move along in the show. My sister, welcome. Yes, so you are welcome.
Thank you, TiTi.
Caro.
It's such an honor. Oh, Caro, sister, me. I'm just so honored to be with you. You know I love TiTi Talks.
Baby.
I rocks with you.
I'm with Asha Ray all day too, baby.
We ain't never came to do the least. Never. Nobody wants us to do the least. We are here to do the most. Always. That's right. Come on.
Tell them.
Always doing the most. So first, I just want to give you your propers. Give you your propers for being the podcaster, producer extraordinaire, just rocking it out in these spaces that, Black women sometimes are not found in as much, especially that production space. That production space is, very decidedly male. So
absolutely.
I have always admired you, in that space, making beats, making soundscapes, and I'm already ready. I'm ready to talk about that because I just want to big you up for that work.
Thank you, boo.
Yeah, no, it's so it's incredible, and it's important to see us in these various spaces and to know that we have all the resources that we need.
Facts.
We in our community, we
absolutely
have women like you, we have women like me, we've got brothers, we got sisters doing everything that we need. And so the opportunity to collaborate just always is phenomenal. And I'm so grateful just to know you and to get to rock with you as a sister.
Likewise. I just keep telling people, man, I'm telling you, I don't know what I did in my prior lives to get the tribe that I got in this one. I don't know what I did, but I'm glad I did it. Won't it be done?
You did your ebo in heaven.
Hey.
You did ebo. You poured your OT. You poured your honey. You did your prayer. Hey,
why? Listen.
We did ebo, so we are being abundantly
right.
blessed.
Sacrifice
right now.
The sacrifice of it all. It's always about sacrifice. The current climate, everything is. What are you willing to sacrifice? No matter what side of the coin you are on. What are you willing to sacrifice?
That's right.
You know what I mean?
And what has already been sacrificed, and what are we going to make of it? That's why for me, this moment has been one where I have really been charged to do more, to do the most. Because, we're in a moment where, all we got is us. All we ever had was us. This idea
I've been saying that we all we got.
That's it. This idea we don't support each other, that's nonsense. Don't nobody support us but us. If we didn't support each other, we wouldn't be here still. You know what I mean?
That is all of the truth. On
We're
so many levels.
We're in an environment that has been trying to destroy us from day one. If we did not rally around each other, we wouldn't still be here. Plain and simple. So understand, this is not new. We are not new to this. We true to this. We are true to this revolution. We are true to this family business.
Absolutely.
This is what we've been doing. Our ancestors who were here and developed the system of hoodoo, our ancestors who developed obia, our ancestors who developed lukumi and candomblé and mixed and remixed their traditions, right? That has been here. This ain't new. So now they come in and saying, all right, babies, it's time to rise up. Enough is enough.
Right.
You know, so we are a part of that. And I'm excited to be living right now.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to be living on earth with you.
Baby.
And the tribe, like you said, that we have is beautiful.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful. And we have to make the most of this. We cannot, the worst thing that we could possibly do is pine to go back.
Right.
To quote unquote normal, because that ish was not normal.
It wasn't normal.
Right? The way that we've been living is not normal. Understand? So I am excited right now for the revolution.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've been I know my show is called TiTi Talks, but I have been kind of quiet. There's been a lot going on just in my personal world on many levels. I work in a hospital, so there's that. Grandfather passed away last month. My grandmother passed away last week. So I've just been extreme, and then the quarantine and just all of this energy. Ibaye to my grandparents.
Ibaye Torum, yes.
So, I've been very quiet, and so I've been super observant. I'm thinking that I'm in like a bit of a download phase, and so I'm receiving a lot of information right now. And when you're receiving a lot of information, you really don't want to be doing a lot of output, because you need to be synchronizing the information. You need to be meditating, reflecting on that information. You need to be sitting in the energy of that information, so that when it is time to do the output part, it's clear, it's not muddled with your own stuff,
right?
And you can really just deliver the message in a very pure way. And so,
you can't talk and listen at the same time. That's sometimes what people don't recognize. You can't listen if you're talking.
You cannot.
So when you get into, and I'm glad you used that word download, because the readings I was doing this morning, that's a word that kept coming up. It's this idea of, sit down and take it in. Take in what you're supposed to be receiving right now. Take in the messages, take in the feelings, understand the feelings. If you're feeling anxious and agitated, feel that for a moment and examine it, sit with it. Because what we tend to do in this society, what we've been trained to do, is distract ourselves away from our feelings, right? So as soon as we get to feeling something, it's like, oh no, let me go on social media, TV, something to distract myself from that feeling. So the strongest thing we can do right now, as we have been in this mode of sitting down, is examine and go deep into those feelings, right? Go deep into them and see how they can be a catalyst for transformation. And I truly believe that's why we're seeing what we're seeing right now, in terms of especially the youth, kids, 17, 16, 14, right? Who a lot of people is out here saying and thinking these kids are spoiled and they're this and that. No. They're the first generation that's going to do worse than their parents, since we have been moving forward. And our generation is teetering on that because of the way that the society has been set up.
Yeah.
So the same way that those youth in the 60s and 70s and even further back felt like, look, we ain't got nothing to lose, let's go for it. That's how these youth are feeling right now.
Yeah.
And so those of us in our 30s and 40s, we are the intermediaries between them and that elder generation. And we are being called in right now to be the big sisters, the big brothers, the auntie, the ones that help lead. We're not necessarily meant to be the ones out there doing the bodily work, because that's the work of youth.
Absolutely.
But then when they come back, we got to have them something to come back to.
Absolutely. And I just want to interject real quick. Nzinga, Dr. Nzinga.
Yes.
She posted a video about that. I want to say last week. They were having the protests in Tallahassee for the police shooting of
Tony McDade, the trans man who was killed in Tallahassee. And she is a college professor, so she has that type of connection with that age range because they're her students. And she went out to the protest to just support her students, let her know that she's there. And she basically came back and got on Facebook Live and was just like, us 30s, 40s, 50s, her exact words were, get off your ass and go support these kids. I think that was her words. But it was a very, I don't even know if it's still up, but it was a very passionate video, just compelling our age range to be like, listen, it ain't gonna be perfect. They ain't gonna be perfect. And there was a couple of posts, I want to say it was from Chief Latava, and she basically was saying that a lot of young people are going to miss out on opportunities and mentor with some good elders looking for saints. And a lot of elders are going to miss out on some beautiful connecting and learning opportunities from the youth by looking for angels. She posted them in 2 separate posts, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense.
So much sense.
Yeah, we have to be, we have to be connected, and you're a professor as well, so you have that. I moonlight as a professor. Sometimes I am and not, but I, in rites of passage things, I kind of have that type of that cross pollination. You have a
great rapport with the young people.
I love the young people. I love the young kids. We love the kids
too. Because like Pac said, if there ain't no hope for the youth, then the truth is there ain't no hope for the future. That's it. That's it.
That's it.
If we don't support the youth, if we feel like they don't have hope, then what do we got? Because they are children. In African and in Yoruba, there's no word for cousin. There's no word for, it's only parent, child, sister, brother. That's it.
Yeah.
So we are that deeply
My brother
connected.
Diallo just made a post about that in reference to Ghana, his experiences in Ghana.
Right. So we got to understand that, especially those of us who practice African spirituality, that this is not just about being at the shrine. This is not just about praying and looking cute with beads and, being called Baba this or that. Yeah. This is about this work. This is about using these spiritual technologies for our liberation.
Yeah.
This is about releasing ourselves from white domination. I don't call it supremacy because that's a condition. Domination is a process.
Right.
And the process is continually happening. Right? They have to continually work to dominate us.
Yeah.
Right. And that is the work that they're constantly doing. So we have to be about the constant work of liberation. Right. The constant work of understanding, quite frankly. And, I keep it 100 all day, that if we're sending our kids to be educated by our oppressors, Malcolm told us this 50 years ago. Come on.
Yeah.
Why are any of us who have the mentality that we have still sending our kids to school to be educated by people who are not interested in their freedom or liberation? Right. And I understand that not everybody, the idea that not everybody has the means to do X, Y, and Z is there, but that's not true. We have all the means we need. All we have to do is decide that this is the time to do it and understand the crucialness of it. All the black business stuff that's going on, we all should have been shopping black. We should have been done with these corporations that don't care about us. We should have been, supporting our brothers and sisters' businesses and doing all these things. And I'm happy to see it happening now, but I don't want to see it go back. When they say, let's go outside, now everybody running to Saks and Macy's and Tommy and all these other places trying to get we out again. Don't make it so that you only shopping with your brothers and sisters when you in quarantine. Come on now. Keep all baby. The dollars flowing, because we African Americans, specifically in the United States, the amount of money we circulate is something like the 8th or 9th largest economy in the world. Just the money that we have and circulate. And imagine us circulating that back into each other constantly all the time. We can do it. We
absolutely can. That's one of the reasons why I even have the TiTi Talks platform. If anybody who's been following me, I done had black people on it that made movies, that have written books, that are making whiskey, that are clothing designers, that are artists, that are cultural ambassadors, musicians, everybody, Black restaurant owners,
Yes.
like all on the show for this reason. Black people that are growing hemp.
Yes, come on.
And teaching people how to grow hemp. That's the whole reason I even have it, so that this information can be disseminated, because there's kind of a disconnect between sometimes what people are doing and then getting the information out to everyday people. You know what I'm saying? And just the translation of information from one group to the next, because, you know, as we always hear all the time, we're not a monolith. We're kind of have our own bubbles and enclaves, which is fine. Everybody's like that. It's cool. You know what I mean? I love the Island Massive. I'm very clear that we are similar in many ways, and I'm very clear that they have their own sacred identities. And you know what I mean? And it's just, and
we've always been that way.
Always.
As Africans.
Right.
We've always been cosmopolitan.
Right.
We've always moved around the continent. We've always learned each other's languages.
Yes.
We've always asked each other when we enter each other's spaces, what is sacred here?
Yeah.
Because we've understood that what your shrine looks like may be different than what my shrine looks like. So when I walk into a space, I can't assume I know. I say, what is sacred here? How do I interact with your space? That is how we as Africans do. We don't say, oh, that space is different, I can't go there.
Right.
We say, oh, when I go there, I have to ask, how do I interact with this space? Right. And so understanding that, we are all we got across the board, whether we're in the Caribbean, whether we're here in the States, whether we're in Europe, wherever we are as people of African descent, we have a common destiny.
Yeah.
And so the sooner we really understand that. And then we've had, folks telling us Pan-Africanism and all of these ideologies have been around forever. And so it's really just a matter now of tapping into it in that real substantive way where we are able to, sustain economically, where we have these farms, where we have our clothing manufacturers, where we have the things that we need to sustain ourselves. And again, we already have them. We just have to continue building the network. So I love what you do. This is one of the reasons TiTi Talks is my favorite podcast.
Hello.
I always know I'm gonna find out about some folks in the community doing everything that there is to do. Some older siblings, some younger siblings, doing every kind of everything. And definitely, those who are listening who might be new, go on back through the archives and find out what all the brothers and sisters are doing, because this is important. These are the podcasters. Y'all are the modern day griots. You're capturing the history. You're capturing the stories of our people. And it's important. And it's a part of our epistemology. It's a part of our knowledge production and the way that we continue to pass knowledge and interact with one another. So more grease to your ebo. Hey, keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Thank you. You keep doing it too. And yes, because we didn't come here to do the least. And listen, speaking of doing the most, I just need you to talk a little bit about yourself and what you do, because it's just, y'all don't even understand. This is she, first of all, she's a Harlem girl.
Harlem world all day, every day. Represent all day.
You gotta listen. I know and love New Yorkers enough to know you got to give them room to rep their situation, okay? We gonna let you
I gotta do it because Brooklyn be getting all the love. But remember, Harlem World was the original Black Mecca, Apollo Theater, all the stars and the folks that's coming out. I'm saying Uptown Money making Manhattan all day in the building, baby.
We gonna let New Yorkers do what they do. I'm just gonna sit here and let it be great, because I enjoy it personally.
I'm glad you do, because I
enjoy it personally. I have a love-hate relationship with New York. I love New York, and I hate New York. But I think everybody feels that way, about New York. But it's such a special place.
It is. And honestly, I get it, because I had to leave. I'm out here in California right now, and I had moved to Philly before that. Unfortunately, it's a concentration of people. That's really a lot of what it is. When so many people are in a space, me, and especially as a spiritual person, and I want to say this, to anybody else who may be feeling this way, living in an urban space. There came a point, especially as a spiritual person, where I just couldn't take all that energy all the time. I stopped being able to even get on the subway at a certain point, because it was just like, I would feel overwhelmed by the energy. And so for me, it was like, I have to shift out of this. I have to shift to some place that's a little bit quieter,
right,
where I can kind of focus and not be around all of that energy if I choose not to, and so I understand it. It's always home, but I definitely understand the need to shift, and I'm grateful for always being able to go back home and appreciate it for a minute and then be like, all right, y'all, see you next time.
Right. That's I tell people all the time, like, New York for 4 days or less is like, yo, I love New York. I'll be bouncing around. I love it. Day 5, I'll be like, all right, it's time to go immediately. Right. I need to go immediately. Immediate. The first 4 days,
bliss.
I be like, I'm from New York. Like, I'm from New York and shit. I'm not.
Right.
But day 5, but for the same reasons, it's very overwhelming. And I be trying to get your rest, and some Dominicans playing some bachata at 3 a.m. And I'm like, they say the city that never y'all niggas never sleep.
We mean that.
Y'all don't sleep.
Y'all need to go to sleep.
Okay. We go to bed in Florida. We go to bed, okay?
Right. But Florida, y'all get your rest.
Yeah, we get some rest. You know what I'm saying? But
that's my second home, so I'm all about the rest.
Oh yeah.
I always got to give big shouts to my Tallahassee fam.
I love it.
FAMU, and all of my folks down there. That was really where I came of age. And in fact, speaking of this moment that we're in, that was where Tallahassee was the place that I attended my first real rally. And I will tell you what it was for a little bit of history, because many of us may not even realize the FAFSA form, the Federal Application for Student Aid, back in about 1997 is when they decided to add the question that's currently on the form about drug offenses. And if you'll notice, that is the only type of offense that's asked about. So you could be a murderer, you could be any other type of offender. You don't get asked about that. You only get asked about drug offenses. Why? Because, of course, we, people of color, Black people, are much more likely to be convicted of, not to commit, but to be convicted of drug offenses. And so it was clearly a way to disenfranchise young Black folks who may have ever, especially young Black men, who may have ever got caught up in the system, to be disenfranchised from the educational system. We marched on the Tallahassee Capitol to try to prevent this from happening. Students protested and demonstrated all around the country. Unfortunately, in the end, that particular protest did not, they still did what they felt like doing. But all of this to say that, there has been movement. I've seen some people saying, like, what does this mean? What's the purpose of marching? And what does it do?
Right.
Understand that change has been made. Laws have already been changed in certain states. The law against no-knock entries and warrants has been passed. Right, in Kentucky. So don't think that this does not have an effect, even if, because I could have easily gotten discouraged. Like, okay, that one protest I participated in, it didn't have the desired effect. Don't do this no more.
Right.
But no, we have to understand, as Ifa says, no one knows the beginning and the end of all things. And so all that we have to do is continue to do the work that we do, but understand that we can and do affect change, and that what the youth are doing right now is affecting change. And so, as we've touched on, just supporting and understanding that we do have the power. Even the Odu of this year, Obealara, says that no matter what has happened in the past, we have to still claim victory now. No matter what has gone on, we cannot use past failures as a measure of what's going to happen in the future. So that's just, we're just being called on right now. And I just was called to share that because that was a moment that I, in terms of thinking about the trajectory of myself, where I could have been discouraged and said, I'm not doing this anymore. But it actually gave me a new resolve and a new feeling of, okay, if they gonna do what they want to do in this system, then let's get out of it. Let's create our own system. Let's create our own schools, our own everything, where we don't have to call on them for their money or be subject to the impositions that they are placing upon us as a society. And so that led me to, being who I am now, and to the place where we are at now, where I'm very, the main thing I would like to highlight in terms of what I'm doing right now is just this past week, we have launched Ashe Ire Communiversity.
Yes.
Which is our community university, where we are bringing the university to the community independently, all Black everything, scholars, the best teachers from around the community and around the country and the world. Right now, we have Baba John Mason teaching a course, wonderful scholar of Arisia studies. TiTi Talks family, y'all gonna be the first ones to hear right now that we have on deck for our next cycle of classes the great Baba Renuko Rashidi to teach. Yes, on the global African experience.
That is amazing. I can't wait to be witness and participate in that. That sounds awesome.
Ashe. Yes,
he has been just a consistent, powerful educator for the community, who for decades and decades and decades has consistently, with detailed precision, just gone around the world collecting history, artifacts, accounts, just documenting our history, connecting a lot of dots, a lot of things that some of our elder historians maybe it wasn't all the way correct, because remember, they were working with the information they had, with the technology that they had at that time. And the beautiful thing about science is, as the technology continues to grow, you can continue to get more and more accurate with the story and with all the clues that are left behind. So what's happening is our current historians, like Baba Rashidi, are filling in a lot of the gaps and giving some good information. So make sure y'all, if you're not familiar with who Baba Renuko Rashidi is, Google him. He has tons of literature, tons of YouTube videos of him, tons of books, and just, support our scholars too. We're in the information age now, where thankfully my sister is, just like she said, bringing it to the community. I think that's kind of one of the challenges that we've had, is a lot of our academic work hasn't really been able to trickle down into a way that is easily digestible and functional for everyday round the way people. And now we're at the age where it's a lot more possible to do that. And now that you kind of can create your own spheres instead of having to rely on other entities, we really can be able to just administer information and be in true exchange with each other and really learn from each other. Because just like you said, we need each other. Everybody has a lane. Everybody has something valuable to contribute and something to add. It doesn't matter if you have a PhD. It doesn't matter if you don't have a GED. It doesn't matter.
Right.
We need to have more, title consciousness and class consciousness about how we're moving with each other, and really be in a space of humility on both sides, being able to listen on both sides, so that we can continue to progress and really galvanize with this energy that's been going on right now. supercharge you were talking about. I felt the same way watching Dave Chappelle's special that he dropped on us. I feel like he's in that moment too, energetically.
Yes.
Because that was an instant classic. Is an instant classic. My goodness, that was the best 25 minutes I've had in a minute.
Right. And I mean, this is the beauty part. I think we are really seeing these energy portals open. We are really seeing the genius of ourselves coming to bear in so many different ways, understanding who comedians are. I love stand-up comedy.
Me too.
Because they are, especially Black comedians, the griots, right? The ones, especially the ones who really take it in, the musicians, the comedians. They are telling the stories. They are saying the things that other people won't say. They are making it funny so you can laugh, but then you still take that little, you feel that little thing in the pit of your stomach when you finish laughing. It's to make you think. And so, this is a moment that we all absolutely, I feel, need to take the most advantage of for ourselves, especially us as Black folks, as a people, to really understand, and renew our connections. And so that is really why I was called in this moment. And trust, like you said, I was doing many other things. But this is a sacred duty right now, in order to be able to bring the voices of the elders, because our elders won't be here with us always, right? In order to give them an opportunity, because many of them, especially in this climate, if they're used to doing a lot of live events and traveling and speaking and are not able to do that now, this is also providing an opportunity for them to continue to disseminate their information. So somebody like Baba Renuko, for example, a lot of his time is spent taking people on tours to these places that he speaks about in his writings. But with that not being possible at the moment, it has presented a challenge. So I feel really blessed to be in a position to help him offer this trip around the world to the community, where they can travel virtually, where they can learn about the African presence in, of course, starting on the continent and then branching out into Asia, Europe, the South Pacific, the Americas, looking at the Nile Valley, looking at women's contributions. And so, for me, even as I started grad school at Harvard 10 years ago now, which is like, it was 10 years ago that I started, and completed, a few years ago. Part of my whole ethos as I started there was that, dang, this stuff that I'm learning is for the people. This is not for this ivory tower. This is not for me to just sit around discussing it with other academics. How can I bring this to the people? And so that is actually when my then blog, Ashe Ire, was born. And Ashe Ire, which has now evolved into my Arisia temple, into the community, started off. And so I want everybody, I'm telling this story because I want to encourage you to, no matter how you start, right? Everything can just grow and expand into a degree, but it's taking that first step. So the first step was just blogging and saying, hey, I want to share the information that I'm learning here at Harvard University with my community, because you should not have to come to Harvard or go to any other PWI in order to gain information about yourself. So let me share what I'm learning. And from there, it expanded into me doing a fellowship actually at the Center for the Study of World Religions there at Harvard. And while I was doing that fellowship, I had the opportunity to organize a day-long symposium, which was on the topic of sacred healing and wholeness in Africana traditions. And so out of that conference came the formation of the African and Diasporic Religious Studies Association, which is the scholarly association that we founded in order to do two things. First, to encourage us as scholars and practitioners of Africana religions to interface with each other more, but also to bridge this gap between the scholars and the community, to really bring the scholarship out. So we've been hosting annual conferences since 2012, bringing both one thing that was very important to me, and which is why it was really great to have Baba John as one of our keynotes, he's been our keynote twice now, is that we don't only want to privilege Eurocentric knowledge, we don't only want to privilege those who have degrees from these particular types of institutions. We want to privilege all of the knowledge of our community, all of those who have been doing the work, doing the research out here. And so being able to bring these elders in front of the community, being able to myself teach, I'm teaching Yoruba language. We're going to have more African language courses in the community. Yeah. We will have spiritual development. We will have priestly ethics, because the Ram. Folk need to understand the ethical principalities, what you're supposed to be doing, what's right and what ain't right. Because the reckoning is coming from the mothers. Y'all hear all these birds out here. The reckoning is coming from the mothers. Okay, we can't keep doing stuff the way we've been doing it. You know, like Brother Michael said, you're doing wrong. They gonna lock you up for too long. You're doing wrong. Hey, if you're doing wrong, they gonna lock you up. The mothers is coming to lock them up. So
what you gonna do when they come for you?
What you gonna do? If with the ones that are doing wrong, listen, the reckoning's coming. So all of these types of courses, professional development, everything. I'll be teaching public speaking for priests, and for not just for priests, for anyone in the community who wants to share their knowledge, right? This is not, and one of the other things that was important about this is that we are in a state of evolution in our traditions. Okay, we have to understand that our traditions came here to the Americas in bondage. They came in duress. They came under persecution. They came under oppression. And so we had to hide things then. We had to craft even more levels and layers of access. We had to create barriers because it was a matter of life and death. I speak about how we often excluded our children from practice because children couldn't be trusted. If a child said the wrong thing at the wrong time, it could be life or death. So children were, kind of excluded from some of these practices. And I say all of this to say that was necessary then because of the environment that we were in then. We cannot continue to operate that way and believe that our traditions will continue to thrive and evolve. We must evolve in the same way that our ancestors on the island of Cuba said, listen, in order to keep this tradition, we have to change it a little bit. We have to evolve it to fit these circumstances. The same way that our ancestors here in the US said, listen, now we have this thing of Christianity being pushed on us, but let's look below the surface and see what the part is that connects to our mandate, to our fong, to our other, to our sensibilities as Africans, right? So all of that to say that this is a state that we're in now, of taking it to the next level, of understanding that we don't have to create and erect barriers to entry, that in fact, we should be breaking those barriers down, and we should want everybody, if I could, give everybody a rogation and some elekes today to come under this protection and just to have that feeling of being connected, I would, right? Like, this is not a clique, it's not a club, it's not something to try to exclude people from. You can't exclude people from God. Right? And I feel that there's too many of us, unfortunately, who try to do that because we want to, when you've been downtrodden, when you've been oppressed, you want to feel special. You want to feel like you know something that don't nobody know. You want to feel like you have access to something that other people don't have access to. And I understand that. But the ethos at Ashe Ire has always been and will forever be that God and Arisia is for everybody. That we have these principles in us. And it doesn't mean, now don't get me wrong, I don't mean running around doing whatever, because there's still rules to engagement and there's still systems in place. But the point being that teaching the people, the everyday people who are not necessarily going to be running to get initiated, who are not going to leave the church immediately, who are not going to do all of these dramatic things that some of us have done. You know how we go to Niger and we do all the things that we do. Not everybody is going to be in a place to do that, and it's not everybody's destiny to do that. Mm-hmm. And so we have to bring the power of this information is in the epistemology. The power of this information is in the understanding of self, and that is something we all need. And so that is why, you know, I share as freely as I do. Ashe Ire is, to my knowledge, at this point, the only Arisia temple that has weekly services. Every week, every single Sunday, we are together for the public, right? Mm-hmm. It's not just for the people who are initiated into the house. This is for the public. Anybody can come and worship and feel the power and connect and call on their ancestors. We have midweek services now, right? Because the Spirit said, especially right now, once a week wasn't enough, right? So I, as many people know, were raised by two pastors. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that my hoodoo ancestors, you see, I got my hijab on, one of my hoodoo ancestors in all the course of this running to Nigeria and stuff was like, wait a minute, baby, wait a minute. Don't forget mama and daddy right here, because my roots here on this land go deep. I've gone back 5 generations and I ain't left the U.S. yet.
Baby, listen, I done been back 17. 17. And you know what was crazy? He was a Yoruba man too.
Wow. See,
they bring it back. Listen, they listen.
They tapping on us. That's what's happening. That's why so many of us are being brought into this fold right now.
And that's why our elders are leaving. Like, they're leaving.
Because they like, look, y'all, it's time for y'all to do it. It's time for y'all to do it. That's, come on now, Ogbe Alara. That's one of the messages of Ogbe Alara, that the time comes when the fathers and the mothers can no longer do the work for you, that we have to stand up and do what it is time for us to do. Mm-hmm. We are the elders. We are the ones that the youth are looking to, whether we think so or not. Mm-hmm. Understand that if you 40, like me, somebody 17, 15, 20 is looking at you and saying you're an elder, right? They're looking at you. They watching you. They're waiting to see what you're going to do, because we are that bridge. They're not going to go to somebody who's 70. They're going to come to you because you still have a foot in that. And so that's why, you know, I teach the way I do. I quote from all of our hood scholars. I quote Pac, I quote Biggie, I quote, Soleil, I quote Eve, I quote Oshunfemi Wambi and Jerry. I quote all of those who are bringing knowledge. Kari J, I'm dropping, you know, all of the folks who are out here bringing knowledge, because Africans have always seen knowledge as a communal thing. Yeah. Knowledge was not meant to be hoarded. Knowledge was not meant to be locked away. It was meant to be protected.
Absolutely.
Right? That's why there are levels of access, but it was always communal. It was always communal. And so that is just the ethos of Ashe Ire. That is the ethos of the African and Diasporic Religious Studies Association, which are my 2 primary arms. And that is the ethos of Ashe Ire Communiversity. And of course, it is the ethos behind the beautiful project that we just completed together of Arisia prayer and meditation, because the whole purpose of me developing that meditation system was to enable and to assist people who may have no knowledge or experience with Arisia in connecting to some of these paradigmatic universal energies that they represent. Right? The things that they represent, to go beneath the surface, to go beyond the colors and the beads and the, you know, and even the idea that we have to learn something, because I feel that a lot of times in African spirituality, there's a lot of focus. And again, of course, because we don't know, people focus a lot on learning. Okay, where's a book? How can I write down? Tell me this information that I need to know, as opposed to connecting and understanding that religion, spirituality, whatever we call it, is first an experiential thing. It's first an experiential thing. It is not an intellectual exercise, but it is about feeling. It is about feeling. And so in developing this, what I call Arisia focal meditation technique, the whole purpose was to invoke the feeling, to let you feel that energy of peace if we are invoking Obatala, to let you feel that energy of rootedness and making choices if we're talking about Eshu, to let you feel that energy of the beating of the heart if we're talking about Ogum, to feel the energy first, right? Not to intellectualize it and talk about it, but to feel it. So, you know, it just, that transformed. It actually started as a live process. So when I was doing that fellowship at the Center for the Study of World Religions, they actually opened up a meditation series that several different meditation teachers from different traditions were teaching it. And I said to myself, you know, it made me think about meditation in Ifa Orisha tradition. What do we have that could be considered a form of meditation? And of course, we do many things, right? Even as we pray, as we chant, those are mantras. Those are vibrations of Ashe that are charging our bodies in a certain way. And so I said, well, how can we go even deeper and even more into this? And how do I bring it to people who may not have experienced this before? And so that is really where the technique of Arisia focal meditation was born, where we take people on a journey to the natural surrounding or into the feeling that a particular Orisha is meant to connect with. And we allow you to go on that journey. And let me just say, I need everybody to know, I need to say this for the public, that nobody, I'm looking right in the camera, nobody but TiTi, nobody could have done this project with me for it to come out the way that it did. So if y'all ain't heard you gonna hear it in a minute, but I just want to thank you with every fiber of my being.
Receive.
I want to give you the honor and the gratitude to your Ori, because baby,
bless you,
the
boo.
Soundscapes.
Bless you, boo.
This started off, like I said, we used to do it in person. I had a core group of about 8 to 10 women who would come, and I would guide them with my voice. And then when and for years, let me tell you, and again, I want to say this to encourage everybody who might have been working on something and wondering if it was going to come to fruition. I developed this meditation technique in 2011. People been asking me about recordings since then. And it was my intention since then to record this.
Right.
Time and space and everything, you know, did what it did. And even we recorded it, almost 2 years ago now, the original tracks, the vocal that I put down. And then so I want you to understand how much Ashe went into this process, how every sound, when I heard, I mean, you know, when you collaborate, especially as a Virgo, and you know, and a child of Obatala, so you already know those exacting standards, and you wonder, you know, how is it gonna be, what is it gonna be like? And I really just, you know, recorded the narration and then turned it over to TiTi and said, you know, I trust your Ori, I trust your spirit. Here's generally what I have in mind, and let's see what spirit brings. And when I tell y'all, her Ori opened up, that every single sound that you hear in these meditation soundscapes was so thought out, is so intentional, is so well placed. Just so it took the narration of the meditation just up to a whole other level, even for me as the person who is narrating now, listening back to what that soundscape added. So I just want to thank you again and just give you so much love and energy, so many props for
thank you so much.
Letting
I appreciate it.
Yes, just letting that spirit lead, letting the spirit lead. So yes, Arisia focal meditation takes you on this journey This one for volume 1, you know, volume 2 is already in the works because you know how the spirit do. But volume 1, we have meditations on there for Eshu, Ogun, Oshun, Olokun, and Obatala. It's an hour of meditations. It takes you on a spiritual journey into each of these places. So with Eshu, you are taken on a journey down the path. With Ogun, you are taken on a journey into the forest to find a hidden treasure. With Oshun, you're taken down by the riverside. Olokun, you go into the waters and come out changed. And Obatala, of course, Pausa has to take us up to the mountaintop. Those bells, let me tell you, and it's not only because I'm a child of Obatala, of course, you know, every track I love, but that Obatala track.
Yeah, that's my favorite,
you know,
too.
If I can step into the role of interviewer for just a moment.
What's up?
I need you to just talk to the people about your process, because it's mind-blowing, TiTi. I don't think you understand. And when people have been talking to me about their experience with it, like, they're like,
you know, a nurse came up to me Friday and said she listened to the Obatala track and she was like, oh my gosh, I told my husband, this is, whoa, you know what I mean? She caught me in the hallway at, you know, at work, and just was telling me she stumbled on it and listened to it. So, I mean, I don't know what my process was. The process was long. I listened to it because we recorded your vocals. She and I recorded the vocals. She was in Tallahassee and we just sat up in my room literally all day and recorded the vocal part. And for 2 years, I kind of ruminated over it with the sounds, and I just kind of would form sound templates. That was the first thing that I did. I formed a sound template based on what you said, based on the imagery, and then I would send you the template, and you would be like, yeah, I like the template, and then I would just kind of build around it from there, and just add sounds as I needed, as you know what fit with who. I went back to a lot of recordings that I did, you know, when I was in Nigeria. There's a lot of drum sounds from Abeokuta. There's a lot of drum sounds from Ile-Ife, which is where the Obatala bells came. There are even some drums from Ghana, you know.
Yes. That Oshun meditation with them big mama drums bringing it in. It just...
Yeah, so...
every sound, it's just, I mean... like I said, it's just mind-blowing. It's so, when you came with that sound for the breaths, even that, you know, that's not something I said. That was you, you know. So how did that even come? Was there a moment when that came to you?
I think I liked that sound for I think that sound was originally in the Obatala sound template. But I decided to use it for something else. I was like, it sounds very airy and very breezy. I don't know. I was just like, let's use it to cue breath. I don't know. I had it as something, and I had somebody listen to it, and they were just like, I like that it cues you to breathe. So I was like, that was good feedback. So I left it to cue you to breathe. So that's how that even came out. And just real quick, shout out to Outlaw Beats for his mastering and doing the final mix down. I asked him, I said, just make it really warm, make it very open, make it vibrate, you know what I'm saying? Give it a very big, wide open stereo sound. And he delivered. So thank you so much, Outlaw Beats, for putting the final polish on it at the very end.
Y'all delivered
like,
beyond. And it let me know too, you know, working with you was such a beautiful process, because it let me know that when you put the right people in position, you just gotta step back and trust their process. You can't, you know, once you say, I'm trusting you to do this, once you put your trust there, you have to just step back and trust the process and let it go. I wasn't, so I say this for all collaborators. I wasn't over TT's shoulder every day. Okay, when you gonna fin and it's taking too long. And especially when you're working with spirit like this, you have to trust the process. You have to trust the process. And, it taught me, because again, Virgo, Obatala can be a little bit of a control freak. And there definitely were those moments when, I was like, okay, it's taking too long, or what are we gonna, and I had to, I worked to quiet those voices and then look at the moment, right, that was created. When this project dropped, it was right at the beginning of the pandemic, right at the beginning of everything that we're facing. In this moment when peace, calm, tapping into universal energy has been needed the most.
Right on time.
Right on time. They don't always come when you want them, but they always right on time. That's it. Y'all know I was raised in the church.
True.
So I breaks out into gospel.
Listen,
I do.
All day. But yes, it and the thing about it is, from the other side of this, when people put their trust in you to do something, you got to knock it out of the park. You got to knock it out of the park. Okay, people? You got to knock it out of the park. You have to show up. You have to show up, and you have to be excellent in what you're doing. Because, when people put their trust in you and you drop the ball, baby, you ain't gonna have too many more chances to rectify that.
Yes. Come on, talk to the people. Look, y'all getting professional development today. You're getting spiritual development. You're getting all of it. That's what TiTi Talks be all about.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
You can't half step. When people put their trust, when you're collaborating, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So you cannot be that weak link in the chain, especially if we're talking about relying on each other, because that's what breaks a lot of our trust in relying on each other.
Absolutely.
That's why you have folks say, oh, Black folks and all the things they say, which I never subscribe to.
Correct.
But, just that idea that we each have a responsibility to each other to be the best that we can be, to be the most excellent that we can be. That doesn't mean trying to be anybody else or do what anybody else does.
Correct.
It means searching in yourself and literally asking yourself every day, am I being the best that I can be? Am I showing up for those who put their trust in me in the best way that I can? And if you can honestly answer both of those two questions and say yes, that's it. Because you can't do nothing more than that.
Correct.
You can't do anything more than be your best and strive to be the best that you can be, not only for yourself, but for those who rely on you.
Absolutely.
So that's it. That is it. And you embody that, which is why I knew I didn't have to worry. That Ogun energy, Ogun.
Yes.
He wants to do it right. It must be straight. It must be right. It must be just. It must be true. So, that
it must be just so.
Just so precise. If you've ever witnessed the sacrifice for Ogun, it's one blow. Okay? Ogun don't come back and
efficiency.
One blow.
Efficient.
Efficiency. And this right here, this right here, it hit with the one blow of peace, of just calm, of clarity, of goodness.
Yes.
I'm excited for it to be in the community.
You hear how she's talking now. You hear how she's talking. Tell the people where they can find it, the full project.
Yes, absolutely. So you can find the full project and everything else related to me at aseire.com. That is ASEIRE.com. If you are a Bandcamp user already, you can find the project on Bandcamp, Funlayo, IYAFUNLAYO.bandcamp.com. So those Bandcamp users, please, I would love for you to, take a listen, add us as, become a fan, keep in touch, join the mailing list, stay in touch with everything, because the things that we put out at Ashe Ray are for the community. They are really for everybody. We invite you to join us for prayer and meditation every Sunday morning. Join us midweek on Wednesdays. Spirit has just really been pushing for me to just put this medicine out into the community. This is what's needed. Just flow energy out, flow it out, let it flow through me, right? This idea, and I've heard this, and I want to share this because this changed some of even my understanding. This idea of being a vessel, right, that we often hear is a stagnant energy in certain ways, right? If you're a vessel, that means you're just holding whatever's been placed in. But this idea of being a conduit, right? So I don't want to be a vessel. I always want to be a conduit through which things are flowing, through which the energy flows, through which goodness can flow, through which every blessing that I get, I can now pour back out. I don't want to hold it as the vessel. The vessel holds. I don't want to hold it. It's flowing out. So as Spirit brings things to me, they just flow out into the community. And nothing makes me happier than to be able to do that.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And also on the TiTi Talks website, there's also a link directly to the project. Yes, either way, check it out. We have a couple of sample tracks on YouTube, on Ashe Ray's channel, on TiTi Talks channel on YouTube. So there's a lot of ways for you to be able to access and kind of to get a preview of it and listen. And if the Spirit moves you, you go ahead and purchase it too. Hello.
Yes, so.
Hello.
Because we know that Ire Owo is the first blessing. Ire Owo, Ire Omo, Ire Aiku. Those are the three cardinal blessings. And Owo comes first, not because we worship it, right? Money, wealth, the means, right? I don't even like to say money for Owo. And Owo, understand what Owo also means is hand. So your work, right? The money and work that go together in order to create any process, in order to create a world that you want to bring Omo children into, and a world that you want to live long in. Because let's be clear, look, our ancestors are clear. We only want to live long if we're living well. That's why Ire Aiku is the last of those blessings. Says, yes, if we are living well, if we have the wealth that we need to live well, if we have the children that we need to carry on our legacy, then we pray to live long. If not, maybe go on back to the spiritual realm and let it start again.
Yeah.
Right? So our peoples are realists. They are realists about our cycles of life. They are realists about our positions. That's one thing I always want to stress, is that we are brilliant. We are geniuses of sociology. We are geniuses of psychology. Even our communalism is a psychological tool. Because what's the first thing that people want to do when they're depressed? Isolate themselves. African culture does not allow you to do that. You stay in your room. You go to Nigeria and try to stay in your room if you want to. Somebody will come to the door. Hello? What is going on? What's wrong with you? Why do you not come out today? Come eat. Come now. Come. You're upset. Why? What's the matter? Okay. Right?
That is a fact. That is a fact. They wouldn't even let me do a little fast one day. It was some hullabaloo. Because I just wanted to chill. I was like, I had a lot of meat and starch. You know what? I'm just going to go to the market, get some oranges. I'm just going to eat 6-7 oranges today and just drink water. That's what I'm thinking in my mind, just to kind of let my system relax and be hydrated, whatever. Wait me more. You are not going to eat. No, mama, I'm fine. I got my oranges. It's no food. Yeah, no,
So you won't eat food again. You just like to take orange.
So okay. you do not want food. I was like, I have some food. I'm gonna eat my oranges, drink my water. So you are not eating food.
Okay, all right. I was just like, oh, hey, wait. Next thing I know, I hear in the back, women boy sick. She's sick. I was like, when did I say I was
sick?
When you say I was sick, I'm sick. I wasn't aware.
Like, Lord, I'm sick. I didn't even know I was sick.
I wasn't aware. But and I'm poking a little fun, just in bringing a little levity to just to bring home what she was saying about the communalism of it all, about the importance of connection. When you feeling the need to isolate yourself, that's when I try to connect a little bit more. I try to do that. I started to feel myself getting sucked into the isolation from quarantine. I started to do something called a Rona Roundup, where I get on my iPhone and just randomly FaceTime people. Just boop, run around up. How are you doing? And the people be like, hey. That's how I looked at first. Hey. Now, 2-3 months into this thing, everybody like, Rona Roundup. Hey.
They waiting. They ready.
Waiting on the Rona Roundup.
New normal.
Tell her. You know what I'm saying? And so I appreciate you bringing up that point about the communalism. We just have to fashion it, configure it, and update it for the times.
That's right.
As long as we are staying at the core value of maintaining in tune with each other, maintaining connection, maintaining that type of interhuman intimacy, that is so essential for our well-roundedness and our development as human beings.
And our well-being.
Our well-being. Absolutely.
Completely. Mm-hmm. We are social animals. Exile is death.
Yes.
For any human being.
Yes.
Right? So we are social. We are supposed to, all this individualism, understand that is the biggest, most destructive seed that was sown into us, to be honest, because our power comes from each other. Even amongst Arisia traditions, Baba John was talking so beautifully about how our traditions are multivalent on purpose. There are 400 plus 1, which means infinite, or Orisha, on purpose, because that means that new beings, new paradigms, right, which is what the Arisia represent, can always be created to deal with any situation that may arise on earth. There is no human condition, past, present, or future, that Ifa as a system cannot understand or encompass, because it is intentionally flexible. It is intentionally elastic. It is intentionally not dogmatic and codified in a book, because once you do that, you now become a vessel instead of a conduit.
Ooh, right? Bring it home. You better bring it home, Iya. You better bring it home.
To lock it up. Come on.
If I had my DJ equipment, I'd do the horn.
I got my ratula.
I'm gonna add that. I'm adding it in post production. I don't care what nobody say.
You gotta.
Yes.
No, please. You must. That's that hood stuff. We need that.
Yes,
come on. That's calling. Yes. Call them. Call on the energies. Call on that conduit. Right.
Yeah.
Because you try to lock this knowledge down and try to say this is the only way, when even the ancestors never said it was the only way. Even now, even in ancient times, you go to Ijebu, where I was initiated. You go to Abeokuta, where TiTi was initiated. You go to Osun State. You go to Oyo. You're going to find 4 different ways of doing things, even in Yoruba land. You're going to find 4 different ways of conducting ceremony. You're going to find 4 different ways that Arisia could even look as their shrines are constructed, right? So understand, African spirituality is not dogmatic. It is not about locking things down and saying this is the final answer. There's never a final answer. That's why continuous revelation through possession and divination are core parts of our spirituality. Continuous revelation, not just what one book or set of information says, continuous.
Absolutely.
So I just want us to take that with us, especially those of us who practice African spirituality, to really embrace and celebrate its fluidity.
Absolutely.
Embrace and celebrate the ways in which we can develop new ways to engage that are beneficial to us in the time and space in which we're existing now. This is why I love Arisia hip hop. I love all the music that's coming out. Richard Raw, you know, all these other folks who are doing Arisia music. Oshun, of course, who are my favorites.
Absolutely.
You know, all of these young folks bringing this out in a new way, in a modern way.
Bring some more names, just in case people are listening and maybe aren't familiar and want to look up. You have brother Wolfhawk Jaguar.
Yes.
Doing his thing.
Doing it. We've got his wife, Oshunfemi Wambi and Jerry.
Yep.
Definitely check out that Warrior Woman and that Goddess Gang. Rock, the MC.
Rock. Shout out to
Rock. Come on. I need me one of them Goddess Gang t-shirts. That's one of my next sister purchases.
Me too.
We gotta have that. Carrie J, who's a young sister out of Sacramento, who's doing her thing. You got her new video called Do Your Thing on YouTube, filmed in Ghana.
Yes.
Beautiful sister. These youth, yo, come on now. If y'all, anybody, can't nobody say nothing to me.
You listen to Sampa the Great?
Oh yes, Sampa the Great for sure.
From holding down Zambia, just it's
yes. From all over. There's so many things. Just, you know, step outside. And Jadena, come on, talking about come to the mainstream. That new album, what? Come on, that's my tribe. That whole mentality. Those is my peoples. Come on, this my peoples. Let's get it together.
Yes.
Inspired a whole little social media movement. So, you know, we have to be open to the evolution, because understand evolution is the very character of our ancestors. They was never content to just stop here and just do this. It was always bigger and better. It was always with that eye to uplifting the community and just, you know, celebrating ourselves, understanding the precarity that is life, and understanding that if we get to live one more day, one more minute, one more hour, that is a blessing. That's why Africans, Black people, we can laugh even in the midst of the most, you know, we make jokes out of everything because we understand that that's life. That's a part of how we deal with the reality of life. We don't delude ourselves.
Yeah.
We joke about it. Say, yeah, that's how it is. And we can laugh about it and accept. That's part of our way, again, psychological integration of accepting things that we cannot change. We joke about them. We remix them to take away their power. So we have to understand the power that we have as Black folks and the ways that we are using all of this. Right? Yeah. It's all coming together. This is for all of us. We are all meant, you know, my Hoodoo ancestors have been so strong lately. They like, listen, the Nigerian stuff is cool, the Orisha stuff is cool, but don't forget about us right here. Your Mande, your Fon, your Guinea, those other folks who were here, and the lineages and the things that were developed here. Yeah. I had been trying to excise my practice of, you know, some spiritual practice of the 23rd Psalm and some of these other incantations, and the ancestors was like, you better not. You better not. Because those understand that by saying those words, we connect with them, because those are words that they said. Come on now. You know, I'm in my shrine room. So yeah. Those are words that they said, right? When we say that Lord's Prayer, whether we're Christian or not, and listen to what's being said in the prayer. Our Father, is calling on God alone, who art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. We're praying for sustenance. Come on now. And forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who have trespassed against us. Forgive us, because we all have done things. It's not repentance. I don't believe in that concept of sin, but I do believe in the concept of doing things that you know wasn't right. That's just it. That go against your own Orion consciousness. It's not about a list of bad behaviors. It's, did you do something that you in your heart and mind know was not right? forgive yourself for that, right? And just admit, I know it wasn't right. And then in turn, what? Forgive those who have done those things to you. Lead us not into temptation. Lead us not towards the things that we know in our own hearts and minds are incorrect. Right?
Speak on it.
But deliver us from those things, because there is nothing but God, thine kingdom, power, glory, forever and ever. Amen. Right? Understand, there is nothing in there that is antithetical to African spirituality. It is African spirituality, if we really listen to what we're saying.
I love that. I love that. I love that. And, we should not have a hierarchy on our ancestors. There's no hierarchy. The ones who were in the continent, if you're from one of the lineages who was here, prior to the slave trade, they're not above or below anybody. And that's why it's so important when people are wanting to know more information, at least people who have integrity and are really trying to help guide you in the right direction. They'll always tell you to go to your personal ancestors before you go to any other type of energy. That is the primary connection. These are the connections that you are genetically similar to. First. Genetically similar to you. Your nose is not yours. It's somebody else's. Your eye color, how you're shaped, how you speak, how you think sometimes.
Yes.
There's reasons that they had the names Babatunde. You know what I mean?
Baba has returned. Yes.
You know what I mean? So
mother has returned.
You know what I mean? So this is why it's so important for you to develop that, get into your family history. I made a post the other day that, if you haven't taken the time to really delve into your family history, now's a good time to start, because this conversation regarding reparations is happening. And, people always say, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. Never going to happen. Well, it's the first time in my life where I have seen a consistent conversation and dialogue happening outside of just our personal homes. These are conversations that are happening in places where laws get made and things get passed.
Out here right in California, the bill
I saw
was passed.
I saw.
Come on.
I saw.
Listen, these ancestors is like babies. Listen, again, a message of Obealara. Don't let any past circumstance let you have limitations on what can happen in the future. Don't let no past failures determine what can happen now. Don't let the fact that things, and I won't even say failures, but that it didn't turn out exactly the way you might have thought it should have.
Right.
At the time that you thought it should have. Everything in its time. We wasn't ready. It's like when Pac said back then, and then it irked me because people kept saying it coming forward when he said we ain't ready to see a black president. Well, he said that in 1992.
Right.
He didn't say that in 2008. At that moment, we might not have been ready. We was ready when it happened. And at the moment that we were asking for reparations and that we were doing these different things, it might not have been the moment. Because what would we have done with it? If Dave Chappelle skit, right? As we come, what would have happened to it?
Right.
But we're in a moment now where, okay, if folks get it now, right? What are they going to do with it? Right. When in this moment, when black business and in this moment where everybody's looking to build and grow and look, black folks get it now, we going to have cities and towns and everything else. Right. Because the consciousness is different. The moment is different. The timing is different. That's why when we do divination and Ifa, that reading isn't for your whole, except for the one, there's certain readings that you get that are for your whole life. But when you get a standard divination, there's a time. There's a window where it's saying, look, right now, these are the circumstances and these are the things that you should be doing right now. Doesn't mean forever, right? So time we have to respect time and understand that things take time. They shift, they grow. You know, it took many years for me to get where I am. Yes. You know, it took, even as I was looking at Ashe Ray, you know, I'm a crier. I was crying and just giving thanks and so grateful. I said, how did I know in 2008 when I got the edict to go to Nigeria to be initiated? And I had been, and I'll share that I had been working with a spiritual elder here in the States. Shout out to Ia Gloria Rodriguez and to her spirit and her Ori. She was my first teacher. And ultimately, spirit led me to move in another direction. And, you know, we handled it ethically and beautifully between us. We still have a beautiful connection because real, true elders with integrity, will never try to lock you down. Will never try to lock you up. Will never try to hold you and say, you can't go here or there. That's not our way either, right? Traditionally, we sent our children to the places they needed to go to learn things. If they need Obatala, we would send them to the Obatala people to learn. We would send them to the Ifa people, to the Oshun people, to the Oya people, right, to learn. So this idea of locking somebody down and saying, oh, you can only learn from me and only, that's not African, right? But I'm sharing this because I know that many people have this experience that they will start in one place and then spirit will move you somewhere else. And it's important to respect that process, to respect the process as far as embracing the change and also to respect it on that ethical level of actually coming to that elder and saying, right? Because African culture is all about truth and reconciliation. We talk everything out, even if it's going to be an argument. We talk it out. We're going to talk. Right? So you have to come and say, listen, this is the way I'm being led. Here's what my Ori is leading me to do. Thank you for everything that you have given to me. And now it's time that I need to move forward. And now, if they react different to that, that's on them. But the point is that we have to have that integrity to do that.
Absolutely.
Right? And to also respect our own processes of where we need to move, of how long things take, of the work that it takes to put in.
Speak on.
Of the step-by-step, it's bit by bit that we eat the head of the rat. It is bit by bit that we eat the fish. So we have to just, you know, as I know are beginning to draw towards a close, just take everything step by step. Take everything step by step. Remember that the first step, as the late great Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King said, faith is taking the first step even when you can't see the rest of the staircase. And there will be many times that we are going to be called on to start walking up steps that look like they're leading into the darkness or into the clouds or somewhere that we can't see. But take the steps. Take the steps. Take that step, because had I not, you know, we talk about how fulfilling our destiny, because we understand that we're intertwined, right? Fulfilling our destiny,
absolutely,
in turn enables others to fulfill theirs. So had I not taken the steps I'd take, my godchildren and the other people who learned from me, the Akekos and the students at the community university, none of those people would have the things that they're supposed to have that I'm giving to them. Now, they might have found another way. Right. Of course, I'm not the only, you know, if I says it's a miserable rat who only has one hole to go into. So, no, I'm not the only way. But there's a way in which each of us has a role to fulfill. And the more we walk in our truth, in our destiny, had TiTi not followed whatever directive she got to start producing and making beats and really go into sound engineering and all of that, we wouldn't have been able to do this project.
Absolutely.
So listen and walk and know that it may not be immediately obvious why you're picking up a skill. When I was in computer programming school, did I know I would eventually be building my own websites and doing my own databases and all of that?
Hello.
Right? For a totally different purpose, for the ministry.
True. That's true. I was a little kid collecting vinyl.
Come on.
I didn't know why. I didn't know I wanted to DJ or produce or do sound stuff. You know,
right.
I was in the band and in the orchestra, not to learn how to play the trumpet, but to expose me to musical information.
Right.
For things like this. It wasn't my destiny to be Dizzy Gillespie. I love to play trumpet. But it wasn't my destiny to do that. I needed the trumpet for the information that it gave me to be in those type of settings to be able to do what I'm doing now.
Come on. See, you preaching to me now. You're preaching. You're preaching. Yes. I wasn't supposed to be a computer programmer sitting in nobody's cubicle. I'm supposed to be out here talking to the people.
Listen.
But those skills helped me to be able to do that, especially right now. Come on, look at this climate when everything is going online and all of that. And now I can be, again, a conduit. Now I'll put out there for anybody who may need this service that I do consulting on digital pedagogy and on putting together digital events.
I love it.
So, you know, because that is something that has been something that I've done for a long time, cultivating digital spaces. And so now that it's become a necessity, I'm able to offer that to the community. So please do, you know, reach out.
Reach out for that. Listen, she's going to downplay it a little bit, but speaking of online digital events, she briefly talked about her, her African Diasporic, religious studies organization. But through that organization, she just put on a conference that normally happens every year, in a physical space. But because of everything, again, elasticity, being flexible, being in the flow, she had to adjust and take it from a live situation that's at a university, and there's a lot of components with scholarships, with speakers coming in. I mean, the logistics of having these type of conferences, people don't understand what it is to put something on like this. It's a logistical nightmare, literally. Now, the end result is always a beautiful thing, but I digress. Yes. So she put this on, but it had to move it into the digital space, and I was only able to pop in and out for a few of the talks and the sessions, but what I was able to be present for, and also reading everybody's responses to the courses that I wasn't present at. It was a powerful, beautiful event, and with information, love, scholarship, showcasing artistry, and how many people were in attendance just overall? Throw that number on there.
Since we had over 700 registrations. We had close to 500 people on Zoom at one time. I have folks saying, I didn't even know you could have that many people in a Zoom. Like, what, 478 people in a Zoom room? Yes. First of all, if you listening and you were there, I'm just sending you heart energy, because the way the community showed up and showed out, the way that Spirit made the way for those who might not have been able to attend in person to be there digitally, the way the information and the messages, and let me tell y'all again, this is Spirit, because when the quarantine began and when the cancellations began to happen, I came to my shrine. I don't do anything without asking, especially big things, because I don't want to lean not on your own understanding. Ifa says the same thing, right? So say, okay, I'm gonna read this. It says, should I just cancel the conference? Definitive no. I was like, okay. I said, well, can we just do the one day of the conference presentations? No. I said, okay, all right. So we do the conference, we do the film festival, and is that Boda? No. I said, well, what you mean no? Well, there was supposed to be a third day of activity, and they wanted the whole conference to happen just as it would have happened in person. That is what they directed me to do. So Friday, we had a full day of panel discussions. Saturday, we had a film festival. Sunday, we had a tour and a surprise concert by Oshun, my faves, all on Zoom, all beautifully well attended. We had Iyalode Yeyefini sing a song from her CD, which was released at our conference in person last year. The community just showed out. And in fact, it was from that the idea for the community really was cemented, because the community responded so beautifully and was so open. I mean, that's just the beautiful part. You know, people talk again. I don't know these people who don't support each other. I don't know these people who are crabby and who, I don't know them.
I don't either.
know. I know Black folks who love each other, who support me and Ashe Ray and ADRSA in ways that are just mind-blowing. And so, you know, I just want to encourage us to understand the power that we have. All we got to do is just come together. You know, that's what's so beautiful. The scholars came, the community came, the artists. We had our featured artist, Stephen Hamilton.
Listen, y'all.
Listen. If y'all don't know Brother Stephen Hamilton's work, Stephen, Stephen, listen. Please look it up immediately. He has a project. He has a work called the Eton Project.
The Eton Project.
A graphic novel that tells the stories of Ifa.
I'm tempted to go grab mine right now.
Come on, we got to show the people. Mine is nearby too. One of us got to. I feel like one of us got to show it.
Hold on,
you want me to get mine? You want to get it?
Let me go get it.
Okay, you get it. I'm gonna tell y'all while she's getting it. What you about to see, you're not even ready for, because this is a graphic novel where each panel is hand painted. So what you're gonna see is actually hand painted paintings that have been photographed and digitized. Many of these paintings were painted on fabric that the artist dyed himself, okay? Indigo fabric that he made the dye, dyed the cloth, in some cases weaves the ashoke or weaves the cloth and then paints on it and then photographs, right? So this is incredible artistry that we showcased, and that is just so amazing, and we encourage you to check it out. All of the artists who are in the community, and understand that art and creation is a big part of our epistemology as Africans. Don't think when people say that our cultures were oral, no, that's incomplete. In my book that's soon to come out, what you're gonna read is that we are not oral, we are voc. We are VOAK, which is visual, oral, aural, and kinesthetic. That is our epistemology. 4 prongs, 4 pillars.
That's kind of hot right there. I feel like that needs to be a new thing. Maybe we can get some shirts that say invoke, INVOAK.
Yo, come on, listen. That's why we could
collaboration.
Hey, we can't help ourselves. We just need it.
Collaborate. Excuse me.
Visual, oral, aural, kinesthetic. We see it, we say it, we hear it, we move it. That is why we gotta talk like this and do like that and all of this, right? That's why, that's how we do. That's our epistemology. Come on. Y'all. Yo, the artists. Oh my God. Hand painted each page. Come on, telling the stories.
I need
any page. I mean, any page is like
any page. I'm trying to find a real. Every time I turn the page, it's just beautiful.
This the one. This the one.
That's the one.
Just
that's the one. You know, I'm just gonna stop playing. I'm just gonna put the picture up.
Oh, that Shango right there. I seen that Shango.
Look at
Just look at it. Come on.
Beauty.
The women pounding the yam. Hey, it is women who pound the yam. It is women who make life smooth. Ifa says that. It's women who pound.
The Ogun concept.
Hey, Ogumoye. Ogumoye. Beautiful. Yes, embodying our energy. Come on, that's visual language right there. Come on.
That's a part of the visual. A part of the visual.
Yes, that is the visual. That is the kinesthetic to the movement.
And then the oral is in here too, because this is a story.
Right. The words. Come on. And then the hearing, because we say things and we hear them, right? We vibrate each other's eardrums. Understand, me and TiTi, we are touching you physically right now. You ain't even know we could do that.
Listen.
Touching you, your eardrums are vibrating from our vocal vibrations. You know how powerful that is?
Come on, Saint.
Hey, this technology is pure juju. It's pure juju.
Hey, juju.
Hey, juju ni. Hey. Yo, we be having too much fun. Oh God, beautiful. Come on, look at the beads, the hand paint, like
the detail. Eton.
Yeah, check that out. You need that. You need
Stephen
that.
Hamilton.
You need that.
I appreciate just the beautiful craftsmanship and beautifulness and the research and just the attention to detail. His artistic, just he's being a conduit. That's all I can really say.
Spiritual technology, right? He is invoking and bringing back, and understand again, when we talk about our spiritual practices and who we are going to be in our communities, not everybody is a diviner. Not everybody is meant to do, right? Really? Not everybody is the spiritual counselor of the community. Not everybody is a singer and a dancer. We each have a role. That is what is so beautiful. That is why there are 256 Odu, with even more levels of specification to each one. It talks about our individual energies, and we need everybody who does everything. Without leaves and plants, there's no Arisia. So we need the agriculturalists, we need the farmers. Everything that we feed to the Arisia is food that we eat. So the farmer he can't be sitting on the mat divining when he's supposed to be growing food.
Hello.
Come on. We gotta have the ones who craft our spiritual technologies that we use as a conduit for spirit. He can't be sitting down doing something else when this is what spirit brought for him. We have the ones that make the medicine. The person that grow the plants may not be the same one that makes the medicine. Right? You learn the plants now and you make the medicines. That might be your job. Right? The Akpon, shout out to Iya Ama Oloriwa. Right? Iya, the sacred singers, right? They are the ones who are meant to bring that particular ashe. The Omo Ayan, the drummers, they bring another type of ashe. The ones that stand in front of the drum and dance, we bring another ashe. So understand, this is not about everybody becoming a Babala or Ianifa and sitting on the mat. We got work to do. Even me. Understand the reason why I still read the way that I read, that I learned to read as a teenager. I read tarot and I do hoodoo spiritual readings. I don't read Ifa because that's not my duty on this earth. And they told me, you don't have time to sit here and learn this as thoroughly as you would need to learn it to really go in. So we want you to use the tools that you have. And so, again, don't get me twisted here. I'm not saying, because I don't want nobody to be twisted, I'm not saying that we are using tarot cards for Ifa ceremonies or anything like that. I am not saying that nothing like that. I am saying that I, as an individual, happen to be a crossroads whereby I had this skill of reading tarot, and then I came into union with the Arisia, and they helped me to do that better, right? Those two systems are not connected, so don't You know, if you go to get an Arisia ceremony and somebody pulls some cards out, you better be looking at them crazy. Okay?
Please,
Let's be
beg.
clear what I'm saying. Let's be very clear.
Be very clear.
But I'm saying that all of these modes can still exist because ultimately they're tapping into what? Universal knowledge, universal paradigms. Ifa is tapping the same universal paradigms that I Ching is tapping, that tarot is tapping, that intuition is tapping, that the ancestors are tapping. They are all tapping the same universal pool of knowledge. They are just expressing it differently.
Yes, so listen, y'all. Listen. Clearly, Funlayo and I can really talk all day. She's not just an esteemed guest on TiTi Talk. She's also my friend. You know, my sister. You know what I'm saying? We have sat barefoot in La Paz, in our rapper. This rappers. She is my
just tucked underneath the arm. Just
my rapper sister. Okay?
Yes, now.
Hey, the sisterhood of the.
There's a difference between the friend that you greet on the street and the friend that enters your home. So TiTi is Oreile. She is the friend that enters my home.
My home girl.
She's one of the few who has actually entered this home, right? This one in Cali. So, you know, we just, we lift you up. And she came all the way out here to see a player.
Listen, let me tell you.
Listen, home girl. I just caught you.
You just caught that. The retention, right?
This is why I love us. This is why I love Black vernacular English. This is why I love our Ebonics. This is why I love how we express, because look at all come on. Look at the epistemologies that we have retained. Even when we say, you better ask about me. You know, that's one of my favorite sayings. Why? Because the witness, come on, can I get a witness? You can't ask nobody about them. You ask me about me, of course I'm gonna say I'm great. You gotta ask a witness. You gotta ask somebody else to tell you about me. Orumila is Eleri Ipin. He is the witness to the selection of our destiny. So this concept of the witness comes through, right? Homegirl, somebody who's been in my house.
Listen,
that's different than somebody.
Because everybody don't come to the house. Everybody don't come to the house. But guess what? Right where we are, right where this mic is, this is actually where like Funlayo recorded the album. Literally. Homegirl.
That's another t-shirt right there. Listen, we're gonna have a whole line by the end of it. Collaboration.
Hey. I'm here for it. Listen, y'all, we could talk all day. I know y'all are gonna love this content, this energy, this episode. I know your following and your listeners are gonna enjoy it. My followers and listeners are going to enjoy it, and we hope that y'all will join forces. We want this to be a big, beautiful collaboration. Share. Make sure you look out for our project, Arisia Focal Meditation Volume 1, or with Funlayo. Yes. And give them a rundown of your social media so that people want to follow you and check you out, your sites, all of that. I want to make sure that everybody can get in contact with you. I actually refer a lot of people to Sister Funlayo for spiritual reasons. For anytime people be like, what should I do? Where should I go? I usually will give Funlayo's information first, just because she's a wealth of knowledge. She's adept. She has integrity, and she's not out here trying to hustle for followers and students. You know what I mean? If you're meant to be with her and cultivate your knowledge with her, you will be. And if you're meant for somebody else, she will beautifully guide you to where you need to go. So she's going to leave you some of her information, her social media, so that you can reach out, get in touch with her, look up her content, and hopefully join the Sunday call as well. And you can talk about that too. But go ahead. I'm going to let you do your thing.
Yeah, first of all, TiTi, I just got to say thank you always more grease to your elbow. Thank you for the work that you do, providing a platform, creating space for us to be able to come together as friends, as collaborators, as everything that we are. And just, I just pray for you to continue for a long time to come, to uplift, that you be uplifted by everything that you do. We just give thanks and praise for you following your glory. Always, always, always. I am always available at my online home, asheire.com. You can also follow me on Instagram. I'm Funlayo there, IYAFUNLAYO. And I am also on Facebook. You can follow Asheire as well. We have the Asheire family group that you can join. We're all about creating community. So we just invite you to join us. And then, yes, every Sunday morning, I am the child of pastors. So the Arisia and the spirits, about 2 years ago, I was really praying and meditating on what the community needed, because I have been given a lot of lectures and talks and kind of traveling and doing things. And I said, something's missing still. I can't put my finger on it. But what does the community need? And what Spirit brought to me was that we need weekly worship together. There's a reason why communities come together, just to worship, not for an initiation, not for any purpose other than to be together and to worship together. So you are absolutely invited every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. The info is at asheire.com. We take trips around the world to various locations as well to do spiritual work. Nigeria, Peru, Cuba, all of it is on the website. So we just invite you to join. I'm also on YouTube, Asheire on YouTube. Just please, as I always say, they make me make all of this medicine, and I just encourage you to use whatever parts of it resonate with your spirit.
Y'all heard it there. You make sure you follow me at TiTi Talks, TiTi Talks on IG, at Miss MSTT Talks on Twitter, TT_Talks on TikTok. You don't stop. I'm also on Facebook. You can join the TT Talks Facebook group. We be in there sharing information and giggling and being a little bit ridiculous, but having good education.
A little bit. We need that.
A little bit.
I appreciate TT Talks, because I can't be Funlayo all the time.
No.
I gotta be Fifi from the block every once in a while.
She gotta be Fifi from Harlem World. She gotta be Goldilocks. She got, what I mean?
Gotta be Goldie. Bring it out the Goldie.
Listen, so yes, join the TT Talks groups. There's a lot of good edutainment in there, but we also giggle and have some good fun and in sharing of the information. It's easy to find me, tttalks.com. Make sure that you are looking out for the podcast. I'm starting up a new season 3. So Funlayo is going to be in our new 3rd season. We are moving into year 4 of TT Talks. So this is beautiful. It's beautiful. Or coming up, yes, it will be year 4 at the end of the year. So we're about 3.5 right now. So
that is beautiful.
I'm excited. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you're following Funlayo. Make sure you listen to our project. Get your mind right, and make sure that you share it with your family and friends. Leave reviews for it, and just make sure that you're circulating it. We need all the support, because we want to make sure that it is touching as many minds and hearts as Spirit will allow. We, as she said earlier, we had an intention behind this as a healing modality, as something that can be used, that you incorporate with all of the other healing modalities that you do, whether you're doing it with your prayer meditations and your petitions and your Ebba and your sacrifices and your candles and your fasting and your meditating and your manifesting and your vision boarding and you just throw all of this with your yoga and your exercise and your drumming and your dancing, everything, all of your chanting, your Odu chanting, everything.
Come on, you're going to be floating up to the ceiling.
Yes. You got any closing words? You have anything you want to say?
just give thanks. Just give thanks. Ifa says we should always be grateful for all of the blessings. And so I just want us to remember that there are 400 plus 1 Irumole to the right, and there are 200 plus 1 Ajogun to the left, which means that the forces of good always and forever outnumber the forces of evil and destruction. So let us always remember that. Let us always feel encouraged, and let us always keep and cultivate our Ori. We cannot get any blessing without our Ori. So please continue to cultivate your Ori. Do your prayer, do your meditation, open yourself up, become a conduit for all that is meant to flow through you. Ashe.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you for joining me on TiTi Talks. Iya Funlayo. Y'all, thank you for listening. Hope you enjoy it. And I'll catch everybody on the internet. Make sure you keep doing the most. You didn't come here to do the least. Me and my sister did not come here to do the least.
Never. We will never do the least as long as we are on this planet. We will do the most. We will jollificate the most. We will make the most money. We will love the most. We will do the most. So iba shoe.
So yes, sir. Peace, family.
Peace.
Thank you so much for rocking with me and Sister Funlayo. Telling you, it was such a wonderful, spirited conversation. Make sure you check out our project. It's titled Arisia Focal Meditation with Iya Funlayo, Volume 1. This project was brilliantly narrated by Iya Funlayo and produced by yours truly. Let Iya and I take you on a guided meditation journey into nature and yourself with Arisia Focal Meditation. The complete project can be purchased here at www.iyafunlayo.bandcamp.com/releases. It also can be found on the TiTi Talks link tree, as well as asheire.com.
We're going to begin by taking 8 deep, cleansing breaths in through our nose and out through our mouth. As we take these breaths, we're going to allow all imagery to fade out of our mind's eye, to become paler and paler, fainter and fainter, until we're left with a brilliant white in our mind's eye. Let us hold this white for just a few moments as we continue to breathe deeply in through our nose and out through our mouth. As we continue to breathe, a scene begins to emerge in our mind's eye. You are standing in the valley of a tall hill. Take a moment to allow the hill to rise. How tall is it? Is there grass, or is it dirt only? Are there flowers? Are there animals? Take note of everything that you see around you as you continue to breathe deeply. After a few moments of surveying your surroundings, you begin to walk up the hill, slowly, deliberately, one step at a time, one foot in front of the other, walking, climbing, walking, climbing. As you move higher, you take a moment to look back and survey the land from the height you've now reached. Make note of the surroundings. What do you see from your new vantage point? After a few moments, you continue to climb, walking up, one foot in front of the other, walking, climbing. It's getting a bit difficult, but you continue. You feel your body growing tired, but you continue. One foot in front of the other, walking and climbing. And finally, just when you feel your body can't take another step, you make the final step onto the top of the hill. Stand and look around. What can you see now? How does the valley look from the top of the hill? You remove your shoes and allow yourself a few moments to feel your feet on the earth. You then lay down on top of the hill, on your back, looking up at the sky. Take note of the sky. Is it blue? Are there clouds? How does it look to you? As you watch the sky and feel your body supported by the earth, The scene begins to fade. It becomes fainter and fainter, paler and paler, until you're left with a brilliant white once again in your mind's eye. Hold this white in your mind's eye as you take 8 more deep, cleansing breaths. In through your nose and out through your mouth. When you're ready, open your eyes and take a few moments to journal about the images you saw during this meditation.